Well, hello again, all the boys and girls out there in YouTube land watching. Georgia Beer Reviews back at you today with another one. And what I'm looking at is from Lone Tree Brewing Company out of Lone Tree, Colorado. This is their double IPA, Imperial IPA. 8% alcohol by volume. There's no IBUs disclosed on the label. I'll look on their website, LoneTreeBrewingCompany.com. If I can find out what the IBUs are, I'll post it in the description below. Now, I'm curious to know whether this is more of a New England style or more of a West Coast style. It does have a little bit of information on the side of the label here. It says a well-balanced, easy drinker. Easy drinker at 8%. That's quite a bold statement. 8 hops combine to create perfect bitterness, aroma, and flavor, while a distinct malt blend provides body and balance, a hallmark for any hophead. So interesting. This sounds more like a West Coast just based off of the description on the label. Let's go ahead and get into it and see what we're dealing with here. I have never had anything from Lone Tree Brewing Company because we don't get Lone Tree Brewing Company beers out here in Georgia. So let's see what we're working with. Okay. Interesting. It is a hazy, deep orange, kind of like a burnt sienna type color. Very, very hazy. And as you can see, the head is quite pronounced. It's got about a 3-finger, relatively creamy looking, slightly off-white head. The aroma, I'm getting some tropical fruit. I'm getting some nice malt character. Honestly, the aroma, I'm really not getting too much with the aroma. It does smell hoppy. Some tropical fruit, like I said, but there's nothing really jumping out at me. A little bit. A little bit of pineapple, a little bit of caramel, a little bit of toasted bread. That's about all I'm getting. It doesn't smell bad. It's not bursting with aromas. Let's see how it tastes. Cheers. A lot more flavor. Good. Yeah, I just wasn't getting a lot on the aroma. Maybe it was maybe I was having a hard time getting to the aroma through all of that thick head there. Look at the splotch, or look at the glass lacing, and the head retention is incredible. So a lot of malt character with this beer. It is hoppy. It is bitter. Getting a little bit of tropical fruit. Getting a little bit of a bitterness. It's just bitterness. Like, it's really hard to attribute it to something. Kind of, I guess maybe like grapefruit, like the pith. Like, it's pithy. It's pithy. Um, and what I mean by that, if you viewers out there are not aware, like the white part, like of an orange or a grapefruit, the when you peel it, you get that white part. It's the pith. It's just that really, it's the most bitter part of the fruit. So it's fruity, but it's very bitter at the same time. The saving grace with this really is the malt character for me is outstanding. In the middle of the sip, you're getting a ton of great malt character. It tastes like some nice caramel malt action going on. A little bit of like a toasted wheat bread note in the middle as well. Yeah, caramel and toasted bread in the middle of the sip. The pithy, bitter quality from, your citrus fruits is definitely there. The 8% alcohol is masked exceptionally well. I'm not picking up on any alcohol whatsoever, which is incredible. 8% is getting up there. This is definitely more along the lines of a West Coast, though. It's definitely not New Englandy at all. It's got beautiful appearance, beautiful glass lacing, beautiful head. It didn't really have too much of an aroma, but it's definitely making up for that in the intensity on the palate. It's very strong. It's very bold with the hop character that I'm getting. This one has definitely got some astringency to it. It's definitely got some bitterness to it. And if you're more of a New England type IPA beer drinker, this might throw you off. But somebody like me who's kind of had everything, I started with the Lagunitas stuff. This is kind of in my comfort zone as well. It's not a palate wrecker. It's balanced enough to where you're getting great malt character to complement the extreme hop profile that I'm getting with this, which is really nice. I really like this beer. I really do. It reminds me a lot of some of the Lagunitas beers that I tried, some of their hoppy stuff when I was first getting into the bitter beers, the West Coast style IPAs. That's kind of what I'm getting with this. One thing that Lagunitas did really well is they balanced all of the hoppy, bitter notes that you got with great malt character, and that's what this beer does. The Lone Tree Double IPA has a ton of hop action, a ton of bitterness. But it's balanced with the wonderful malt character that this beer has. So it's really relatively balanced for a super bitter beer in that sense. Um, I'm going to give it a 94 out of 100. It's a pretty solid A. If you're really into the more bitter stuff, the West Coast style, you'd probably give this a 96, 97, maybe higher. I don't know. But for me, it's still an excellent beer. It's right there. So 94 out of 100. It's a solid A beer. If you can find Lone Tree Brewing Company beers in your area, definitely worth checking out, especially if you like your beers, your IPAs more on the West Coast side, a little bit more bitter and resinous almost. That's kind of what you're going to get with this. But it still has a lot of great malt character nonetheless. So that'll do it for this beer review, guys. Like I said, I'm going to post Brian's link in the description, or his channel link in the description below, as well as right there, so you can go check him out by clicking his face right there if you want to. So that'll do it for this beer review, guys. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. And until next time, everybody, cheers.